Welcome to my channel. Listen to my stories every day. Comment, like and subscribe to my channel. Enjoy listening. I almost fell off my desk chair when the door flew open with a bang loud enough to startle anyone into submission. Amanda stood there, a smirk plastered across her face, the sunlight from the hallway haloing her like some kind of usurper angel. "Honey, get the hell out of here." "This is my place now," she declared, sauntering in with a confidence that seemed ill-befitting the situation. "You spent 5 years trying to make this happen, and I got it in one night. A very hot and passionate night." She tossed her hair, her eyes glinting with mischief. "Too bad I couldn't go through you. I found bigger fish. Your chief really wasn't bad." My mouth hung open, a mix of shock and rage knitting my brows together. This was my office, the culmination of late nights and endless projects, and here she was claiming it as if it were a prize won at an auction. I gripped the edge of the desk, steadying myself against the tidal wave of betrayal that threatened to topple me. "What are you talking about, Amanda?" My voice was a low growl, barely concealing the tremor of anger. "You can't just waltz in here and—" "Oh, but I can." And I have, she interrupted, waving a piece of paper in front of me. "See this?" She flaunted the document like a trophy. "Your dear boss signed over your position to me after our little rendezvous. Seems like he finds me quite persuasive." The room spun slightly as I took in her words. Betrayal from two fronts. It was more than just a personal attack, it was professional annihilation. I stood up, my chair screeching against the floor as I moved closer to her, my gaze fixed on the paper that symbolized my downfall. "Give me that," I demanded, reaching for the document. Amanda danced back, a laugh escaping her lips. "Not so fast. If you want it, you're going to have to be smarter than just snatching it from me. You should know by now I'm always 3 steps ahead." I paused, assessing her. The Amanda I knew was cunning, yes, but this was something else. This was cold, calculated. It was then that a spark ignited in the back of my mind, a spark that began to form the outline of a plan. Revenge, perhaps. But first I needed to regroup and gather my own allies. "Fine," I said, stepping back and holding up my hands in mock surrender. "Enjoy the office." "But this isn't over, Amanda. This is far from over." Her laughter followed me out as I gathered my personal items, few mementos that seemed so trivial now. As I stepped into the elevator, the weight of what had just happened began to press down on me. But rather than crush me, it forged a new resolve within. To begin with, I needed information. Hard, solid evidence of what transpired between Amanda and our chief. Something told me their tryst wasn't as simple or as one-off as she made it sound. I'd start with the security tapes. It was a risk, but one I had to take. If there was anything incriminating, anything at all that I could use, it would be there. The elevator dinged, signaling my descent not just physically but metaphorically into the depths of this corporate conspiracy. By the time the doors opened, my plan was clear. Amanda and the chief had made a critical error in their little game. They underestimated me. And that was going to cost them dearly. As I walk out of the elevator, the weight of betrayal sits heavy on my shoulders, but my mind races with the beginnings of a plan. The first step. Getting the security tapes. I need someone on the inside, someone I can trust. That's when I think of Jenna, the night security officer. If anyone has access to the tapes, it's her. I pull out my phone and send her a quick message, hoping she's on duty tonight. It's not long before I get a reply. "Meet me in 20. Usual spot." A rush of gratitude washes over me. Jenna has always been reliable, a steadfast presence in the ever-shifting sands of office politics. As I approach the small, dimly lit coffee shop across the street from our building, I see Jenna already waiting, her expression solemn. "I heard about what happened," she says without preamble as I sit down. Amanda's move was bold. Too bold. "Yeah, and I need to find out exactly how she did it," I reply, leaning in. "Can you get me the security footage from last night?" Jenna's eyes narrow as she considers the implications. It's risky. If we get caught, it could mean more than just our jobs. But she pauses, a fire igniting in her eyes. "I'm in. What Amanda did was wrong, and you deserve justice." "Thank you," I say, feeling the first thread of hope. I knew I could count on you. We'll need someone from it to access the archived footage without raising alarm, she suggests. How about Eric? He owes you one after that mess last spring. Good idea, I nod. I'll talk to him tomorrow. Leaving Jenna with a plan to meet again after she secures the footage, I head home, my mind buzzing with the next steps. The next day at the office is tense. I keep my head down, avoiding contact with Amanda or the chief, but I can feel their smug glares boring into my back. In the afternoon, I find Eric in the I-8 department, secluded in his cluttered cubicle surrounded by dual monitors. Hey Eric, got a minute, I ask, keeping my voice low. He swivels around, a frown creasing his forehead. What's up? I heard about the takeover. Rough deal. Yeah, it's been a nightmare, I admit. Listen, I need a favor. Can you pull last night's security footage for me? Discreetly. Eric's eyes widen, understanding the gravity of the request. After a tense moment, he nods. I can do that. But we'll have to be smart about it. No traces. Exactly, I agree. Let's meet after hours. Bring the footage to my place. We can review it together. All right, I'll be there. Just hope we find what you're looking for, he says, a note of concern in his tone. As I leave his cubicle, I feel a mix of fear and exhilaration. Tonight could change everything. Either I'll reclaim my life, or I'll lose everything in the process. But I know one thing for sure, I'm not going down without a fight. As the day gives way to evening, I prepare for what might be the most important night of my career. The clock strikes 7 as I pace nervously in my apartment, waiting for Eric. The weight of the impending revelations hangs heavily in the air, each second ticking by amplifying the tension. Just as I'm about to call him to see if he's been caught, there's a soft knock on the door. My heart skips a beat as I rush to open it. Eric stands there, a flash drive in his hand, looking around cautiously before stepping inside. Got it, he says in a hushed tone, handing me the drive. His face is pale, his eyes wide with a mix of fear and anticipation. Let's see what we've got, I say, leading him to my laptop. We sit side by side on the couch, the laptop perched on my coffee table. I insert the flash drive, and a folder pops up filled with video files. We select the one time-stamped from last night and press play. The grainy black and white footage shows the dimly lit corridors of our office building. We fast forward through hours of emptiness until, finally, two figures appear on the screen. It's Amanda and the chief, their body language overly familiar. They pause at her new office door, talking animatedly. Though there's no audio, their closeness speaks volumes. Can you believe this, I whisper, anger bubbling inside me. Just watch, Eric replies, his voice tense. We continue watching as they enter the office, the door closing behind them. The scene cuts to the interior camera. Inside, their conversation becomes animated. Amanda's gestures are confident, almost theatrical, as she points to various charts and documents. Then, a moment of truth, the chief hands her a folder, and she looks through it eagerly. It's hard to make out the details, but the implication is clear. They're not just sharing a casual chat, they're in cahoots. We need to go through every frame, I murmur, pausing the video. There might be something more, something we can use. For the next hour, we comb through the footage, pausing, rewinding, and playing again. It's tedious and taxing, but our diligence pays off. At one point, Amanda points to her laptop screen, clearly showing a graph that I recognize. It's from a confidential report that only a handful of people should have access to. That's it, Eric says, pointing. That's proprietary information. If she leaked that. It's more than just a leak, I cut in, realization dawning. It's corporate espionage. We lock eyes, the gravity of the situation settling in. We need to show this to someone. Go to the board, go to HR, Eric suggests. No, I reply, my mind racing. Not yet. If we go now, they'll cover it up. We need undeniable proof, something concrete that they can't just dismiss. And how do you propose we get that, Eric asks, skepticism in his voice. I have an idea, but I'm going to need your help, I say, a risky plan forming. We need to access her emails, her communications. If she's been this careless, she's bound to have slipped up somewhere else. Eric hesitates, clearly conflicted. That's illegal. I know, I acknowledge, but think about what's at stake here. Not just our jobs, but the integrity of the entire company. After a moment of silence, Eric nods slowly. Okay, I'm in. What's the plan? Relief washes over me. Tomorrow we go back to the office early. You get me into the system, I'll find the proof. As Eric leaves, the weight of our decision weighs heavily on me. We're crossing a line, but with the stakes this high, it's a risk I'm willing to take. Tomorrow, I think, could change everything. Chapter 4, Checkmate. The dawn barely breaks as Eric and I slip into the office building. It's eerily quiet, with only the hum of the air conditioning filling the silence. We make our way to the eat room, where Eric quickly sets up at one of the workstations, his fingers flying across the keyboard. Okay, you're in, he whispers after a few tense minutes. Amanda's email is open. I'll keep watch. Be quick. I nod, taking a seat. The screen in front of me displays a plethora of emails. I start with the most recent, scanning quickly for anything out of the ordinary. It's mostly mundane, until a particular email thread catches my eye, one between Amanda and an unknown external address. Got something, I mutter, clicking on the thread. The conversation is coded, but references to the deal and moving forward pop out, along with attached documents that look suspiciously like internal reports. My heart races as I open an attachment. It's a detailed financial forecast, highly confidential, and marked for internal use only. This is it, Eric. This is our smoking gun, I say, feeling a mix of triumph and disbelief. Just then, a noise from the corridor snaps us to attention. Footsteps. Approaching fast. Hide, Eric hisses, and we both duck under the desks as the door swings open. It's Amanda, and she's not alone. The chief is with her, and they're talking in hushed, urgent tones. The board is getting suspicious, the chief says. We need to move faster. Amanda nods, her voice low. Don't worry. I've got it covered. Once this deal goes through, we'll be untouchable. They move to a terminal just a few feet away from where we're hiding, oblivious to our presence. My breath catches in my throat as I realize they're about to log into the very system Eric hacked into. This is perfect, I whisper to Eric. Record this. Eric nods, quietly positioning his phone to capture their actions. As they log in, discussing their plans, every incriminating word and action is recorded. Minutes feel like hours until they finally leave. Eric and I exhale in unison, the weight of the moment settling in. We need to go to the board, now, I say, grabbing the evidence. The board meeting is a blur of faces and voices as I lay out everything: Amanda's betrayal, the chief's complicity, the recorded conversation, and the stolen documents. The room falls into a stunned silence as the evidence mounts. Amanda and the chief, called in to face the accusations, have no defense. The evidence is irrefutable. As security escorts them out, the chairman of the board turns to me. We owe you a great debt, he says solemnly. Your position will be reinstated, and we'd like you to help us clean up this mess. Thank you. I will do my best, I reply, the relief and exhaustion washing over me. But as the room clears and I'm left alone to gather my things, a small, unopened email catches my eye. It's from an internal whistleblower line, a report filed against the chief, dated from before Amanda's scheme. I open it, and my eyes widen. The report accuses the chief of earlier, similar misconduct, long before Amanda's involvement. It was ignored, buried. I realize then that the problem runs deeper than just Amanda and the chief. The entire system is compromised. Armed with this new knowledge, I know what I need to do. This isn't just about clearing my name or saving my job anymore. It's about justice, about changing the culture that allowed this to happen. As I step out of the boardroom, a plan begins to form. With the evidence I have, I can push for real change. Maybe even prevent this from ever happening again. The battle is won, but the war is just beginning. And I am ready.